and welcome to Might Be Awesome. My name is Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Woldridge.
And today we're going to be doing a review for Fast and the Furious Presents, Hobbs and Shaw. Wow, cool. Look at these two. Look at these
two. Three handsome boys. And then if you look in the corner, they're a handsome lady.
There are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're handsome. They're good-looking ladies.
So, Sam, I'm going to be honest with you. I am still currently very excited for this movie. However, unfortunately, due to extenuating circumstances, I was not able to attend the screening with you.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry you couldn't make it.
Yes, I am too, but I'm excited to discuss it with you because I've got a lot of questions about what I should be looking forward to or anticipating going into the movie.
I'd temper expectations.
Okay.
I think it's fair. You know what? Here, let's take a look. You know what? I don't have to say anything yet.
Yeah, yet.
Let's take a look at what Rotten Tomatoes has to say.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Now, this is just an aggregate. Let's just put that out there, but the critic consensus reads as follows. Hobbs and Shaw doesn't rev as high as the franchise's best installments, but gets decent mileage out of its well-matched stars and over-the-top action sequences. Really like
decent mileage is faint praise.
Yeah, but really good car puns in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to see the movie last night. Thank you to Universal for sending over an invite. Really appreciate it. And I did have some fairly high expectations of having fun in the theater while watching it.
Yes.
I do know I have seen a Fast and Furious movie before. I'm not expecting Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Our review's up on the channel right now. You can go watch that. But I had some expectations. But before I get ahead of myself, before I get to the review, let's go ahead and read some business up top. This movie is directed by David Leitch and written by Chris Morgan and Drew Pearce. It stars Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, Vanessa Kirby, Helen Mirren, Eiza Gonzalez, and so many others. The quickie synopsis: Lawman Luke Hobbs and outcast Deckard Shaw form an unlikely alliance when a cyber-genetically enhanced villain threatens the future of humanity. All of it. Yeah. We're talking, this is like a global threat. This is huge. This is the biggest threat this LA Customs car shop has had to deal with yet. Yeah. Now, this movie is going to be hitting theaters August 2nd, and that's this Friday. So sometimes when we get our invites to these reviews, you get a little nervous when the press screenings are a little close to the release date.
2 days out from,
It doesn't usually inspire confidence, but the embargo lifted immediately after the screening, so that usually means a good thing as well. So it's kind of up in the air, and it's an action movie. Critics might be a little bit harsher on it than maybe audiences would be, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion.
Yeah, so I know for me, going in, the thing that excites me most is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham are two of my favorite action stars ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see them have a movie that's just focused on them, like an action buddy movie with those two.
I'll get overall thoughts.
Yes.
Their relationship's a ball of fun. In the Fate 8 of the 7, 8, 9 of the whatever happened, the last Fast and the Furious film. It was really fun to see them kind of at each other's throats. Prison breakout scene was really cool.
Yeah, those are my favorite scenes in that movie.
Interactions with Mr. Nobody, and it's when they're working on cars together, and you're like, you may have murdered my friend in cold blood, and I may have punched your brother who's a terrorist in the face too many times, but we sure would look cool if we made out together.
But we are family.
There we go, we're family. And so, it's a lot of that in this movie. It's that times 1,000 with some nitrous kicked in there because it's Fast and the Furious. This movie really leans into their relationship and the comedic chops of both of these actors, which I think they're both funny. If you haven't seen Spy, I know that the scenes I have seen from that movie with Jason Statham, they're very funny. And I think The Rock's a very funny man as well in Jumanji and the other Furious movies, Tooth Fairy. There's some good ones out there.
Deep cuts in there.
You're welcome.
What was it? Because one of them's Vin Diesel. The Pacifier?
The Pacifier is also really good.
Nice.
Yeah, they both did their own, Okay. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
He's a secret agent, has to be a babysitter. It's great. Super good. Now, this movie, it does, like I said, it really leans into the relationship, and they are having fun on screen, but it does kind of feel like they're really trying to milk that antagonistic relationship as much as they can, which is not always bad, but I think after a while it does start to dip. It was specifically right in the middle of the movie because we learn about the threat. Vanessa Kirby is at the crux of what is happening, and along with Idris Elba. While this movie does rest a lot on these two characters' antagonistic relationship, we don't ever see them grow from that until about the last 5 minutes of the movie. So you're seeing them at their throats doing the same bit for over 2 hours, and that it can be taxing.
Okay.
And I know my negatives are up front, but I will also say the action is what you go to these movies for, right? You want Saturday morning cartoons, but with a bigger budget. Like, what do we had The Rock curling a torpedo in the last movie?
Yeah, you did.
Amazing. The bummer of that is most of the action set pieces and big moments were already shown in trailers. Now, a lot of people are like, just don't watch the trailer. You can't say that. Sometimes we sit down for a movie and a trailer plays. I'm not going to get up and leave. And so a lot of the set pieces that are exciting have already been fully exposed to the audience. And so that was a bummer, that there weren't too many surprises throughout this film.
Okay.
The threat, though, is interesting, and they're 100% setting up for multiple films to be coming out of this.
Okay.
But going to the positives, Idris Elba, and I can't say this about just Idris Elba. Every actor in this movie is having the most fun they could possibly have in a film. And Idris Elba, most of all, because he's playing full-blown villain. Like, he even introduces himself as bad guy at one point. Just full on, that's what he says.
And I gotta tell you, I know I'm seeing the Rotten Tomatoes score, I'm seeing what you're saying. I still want to see this movie.
No, and I think for fans of all of the Fast and the Furious franchise, like, I am a Tokyo Drift apologist. I get it. I fully support that. Play it on my gravestone. I request it. But it just feels very middle of the road. But Idris Elba, you want to say the way he handles his action, the way he interacts with the other actors in this movie, it's fantastic. It would be really cool to see him in future properties as well. Like, let's just get every person. Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Fast and the Furious just has everybody now, and that's okay. They all like custom cars. I mean, everyone kind of does to a degree. You're like, that looks cool.
It looks
exactly. Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
everyone's reaction is. I wouldn't mind it. Vanessa Kirby also does a really good job in this movie.
Yeah.
I appreciate her relationship with Jason Statham, but we were talking about this before we started recording, that they are siblings, and that's shown in the movie, and that is set up in the trailer. We did look up that there's a 20-year age difference, roughly, between the two actors. Yeah, that's okay. Also, we get...
listen, guys age differently in movies. I guess Shaw's supposed to be like 32.
Ballpark. And I'd say as another positive in this movie, the action that you do get that is a surprise is the light, and the larger-than-life aspects, like your zombie cars in the previous movies. In this, what's happening with Idris Elba, it is fun to see him, like, go ham. And he is working on behalf of a tech something, evil tech stuff. So the gadgets he's able to use in this movie are pretty cool, because usually we just have souped up cars being thrown out of planes with parachutes attached, it's fun to see a normal piece of technology or hardware being used in unconventional ways. In this, they kind of go full sci-fi with it, which is also fun. But at the end of the day, I think this movie may have gotten a little too excited and shown a little too much in the promos. And when it did come to the action that we did get, while it was still interesting, it kind of felt stilted at times. Which, like David Leitch, who has directed Deadpool 2, he was one of the original directors for John Wick. He also
John Wick movie,
and Atomic Blonde, which Atomic Blonde we actually reviewed. And besides the main crux of that movie, which is that one-take action scene, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
The rest of the movie's not so great. And it kind of feels like in this movie, the action just doesn't feel as energetic. It doesn't feel like it has its own. It feels like visceral. In this movie, since you have to have that PG-13 rating, you can't really get lot of the stuff.
This is his first PG-13 action movie,
which I think might be a little bit detrimental to the action, because David Leitch has been able to use an R rating to its full extent, especially in like Deadpool 2. You're able to get a lot of gags and a lot of mileage out of that. And so when it does come to the action, it's fun to see that The Rock is an enormous human being, and he's able to throw people around like they're toys. But after,
not a special effect, you can really just do that.
He can just do that. He does do that a couple times in this movie. But after that, it does kind of get. It just kind of feels a little stale, which is super disappointing. That being said, there were a lot of people who were walking out of this theater, other critics who were having a lot of fun. I know the top critics on Rotten Tomatoes are giving a 73%, so that is higher. And I do want to put it out there, if you're thinking, like, are there post-credit scenes for a Fast and Furious movie? That usually does not happen. But in this, there are 2, so make sure you stay after the credits. They are a lot of fun.
Are there any candy asses in those after-credit scenes? No spoilers.
I can't say. I couldn't say. That's up to you to decide. I will say that the Fast and Furious movies do a good job, like your other other spy franchise movies of using location to their full extent.
Yeah.
We are able to go all over the world.
Yeah.
In the trailer, they've shown like London is one of the set pieces, Los Angeles, Samoa.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy how it's able to use the culture and the lifestyles of the places that they go to in interesting ways that are able to make the action in this movie feel more unique, especially when they get to Samoa. That's when
I gotta say, we just threw up this asset of Samoa, and it just, you look at that and you're like, man, it would hurt to just bump into the rock. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like, you know, when you're walking and you like hit like a rock, like if you're in the and you hit a tree, you're like, ow, you just tap and you're like, ow. That's what it looks like if you just bumped into the rock for no reason.
I think I just want to kind of like round out the review.
Yes.
I think for fans of the franchise, you're gonna have an okay to good time watching this movie. It is not the height, similar to what Rotten Tomatoes said. I think it's not the best of what these movies can be. Yeah. I know you're a big fan of Fast Five.
Fast Five, yeah.
While I like Tokyo Drift for what it is, I think Fate of the Furious was one of my favorite newer movies that have come out, and especially the way they used Deckard Shaw and the other Shaw brother. Yeah. There's a lot of Shaws out there. Big fan. And but it's still a well-crafted movie, and I think that the cinematography in this movie actually does deserve a lot of praise because the way specific action scenes, you'll know what I'm talking about when it gets to the final act of this film, and they use water, the way that they're able to capture it is just super dynamic, and you could tell that they cared about what they were showing. So maybe the creative decision for David Leitch was, if we can't show violence the way that he normally does, maybe we can capture it in different and unique ways, which we have seen throughout Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and John Wick, the first one. So it was cool to see that aspect brought to the Fast and the Furious franchise. Also, now remembering David Leitch has worked with a lot of people, and there's going to be some fun people you're going to see in this movie that haven't been in other Fast and the Furious movies before, and you will not be disappointed with their scenes. I will say that is a big positive for me. So to rate this movie out of 9, because that's how many Fast and the Furious movies there have been. Yes. Oh my God. You know how long? That's so long. That's so long. But out of 9, I'd give it like a solid 6.5 or 7 out of 9. You know, if we bump it up to 10, I'd give it or just a normal letter grade. I think I'd give it like a middle C. Yeah. You know, I think that's fair because none of this movie I hated. I just think that when it came to the humor, they kind of stuck on jokes for a little too long. And and the sci-fi angle does kind of feel like you lose the grounded aspect of these movies. It has gotten we've departed that a long time ago, but this feels like the biggest departure of that. And it's a bummer that the action was shown in a lot of the promos already, but if you're a fan, you'll have fun. I feel like I said enough. So,
well, I gotta say, for me, I'm still gonna see this movie. I'm still gonna see this movie. You didn't tell me anything that makes me go like, oh, maybe I should check it out. Like, I'm still gonna check it out.
I saw a tweet out there that when this came out, it had like a 69% when they were talking about it. They're like, that's like an A for normal movies when it comes to Fast and the Furious movies. So if you want some fun, dumb action during the summer, go check it out. You'll have a good time. For the most part, just turn your brain off. That's never the best advice, but go ahead and give it a try. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and also let us know what you think of those post-credit scenes, because I had fun watching those. Those were a blast. But make sure you subscribe, check out our other deep dives and reviews here at Might Be Awesome. Make sure you listen to our podcast at onlystupidanswers.com. I'm Matt Sam Basher, everywhere that matters.
I'm a DJ Talks Trash.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.